Here we go.
Hey,
Guten
hey,
Tag.
what's up?
That's all the German I know. So,
Nicht schlecht.
welcome to Guitar Summit. And thank you for tuning in if you're watching this live on the Andertons YouTube channel. So I'm here with Alex Misko, who many of you will recognize as the dude that plays some of the craziest shit you've ever seen on an acoustic guitar. So welcome, Alex. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And I guess you're a lot younger than I thought you were going to be, because I feel like I've been watching you on YouTube for 5 years or something, and you're still only 22 years old or something, right?
I'm always 22, but...
So how did you get this crazy good and find your way of playing guitar so young? Who were you listening to make you want to play like this?
Well, I wasn't super young when I started, so at first I started as a classical guitar player, so I was taking classical guitar lessons with a private teacher because I liked rap, and my parents decided to give me the guitar to do music because I liked rap. And it didn't quite go well, but I still was practicing for 3 years, more or less. I had a good teacher, so he managed to give me all the basics, all the fundamentals. But if I wouldn't find this kind of a weird modern fingerstyle style on the internet, I think I just would stop playing at some point. I would be just... it wasn't my passion.
Right.
Before I found these dudes who do some really beautiful, nice music, and modern acoustic music, which is not classical, which is not quite pop, which has no boundaries, no rules, no restrictions. As soon as it sounds good, as soon as there's anybody else to listen to that, then it's good enough. And there's no competition, there's no like real, I don't know... Yeah, there's no competitive nature. We're all friends, and we all develop new things. And the first people who brought me into that were Don Ross. It's the Canadian fingerstyle player, one of the greatest. Well, Andy McKee, Preston Reed, John Gom, Mike Dawes, and then I'm a big fingerstyle nerd. I know everyone, and I try to pick something good out of something that I like from each one of those.
Tell me how you. What was the journey? Because I assume you didn't see Mike Dawes changing tuning and everything and immediately start to try and play that. There must have been a transition of playing a more conventional style. Or did you literally just go straight into going...
Well, not really, and the tuning changes is one of the easiest things that I do. Is this is not anything technical, it's just turning the levers and hitting the tuning pegs at the right moment of time. So the hardest things are normally happening in my left hand, so for normal people it's the right hand. And so something here, the picking stuff or whatever, the drums, and on all the fancy tapping techniques like that. This is hard, not the tuning stuff and not the drumming stuff. This is easy. But anyway, so yeah, at first I started to pick up some basics. So for example, when people play standard kind of finger picking, it all starts with a string clap, string slap, something like this. This is that Don Ross likes to do a lot. And if you put that on 2 and 4 in every bar, you can already have some kind of a drums within your playing. So there's nothing fancy, but it already sounds kind of like bass drum separation. I started with this. I was learning dozens of songs by all these guys that I mentioned, and I learned drums through Mike Dawes music, for example. So that was, I learned how kicks and snares, I learned how all this stuff works first on guitar, and then I applied it on drums. So that was kind of inverted process for me. But anyways, I was just trying to pick up the best things, and then I saw, okay, John Gom or Adrian Legg, they do this tuning thing, and I picked it up. Then I was thinking, okay, they just do 2 strings. I want to do 6. Okay, and then I found some other things. Okay, now I can do another note. So they were just doing this, and now I can do... And I was just thinking, okay, there's Michael Manring who does something similar, but on the bridge side, if you can do this tuning here on this side, why wouldn't you do it on this side? And then you add another note here. Well, gotta be in tune though. Yeah, more or less in tune. And now we have 4 notes. Yeah, and sounds beautiful, sounds fun, and that's it. But it took me years, of course.
Originally, when you started doing this, was it to try to recreate pop songs that you'd heard and you liked and you just wanted to be able to play all the parts of it? Or did you very quickly start composing your own kind of music with this style?
Well, I quickly realized, well, actually, the first thing that's very important to mention is that I fell in love with the style. Like for example, Don Ross, Andy McKee, they are all great composers, and I kind of wanted to be like them. So basically, touring artist, playing music that I compose, that I love, and sharing this music and passion with other people. And the covers were not really there. But then I realized that, okay, well, I started composing almost instantly, but I mean, for composing it takes the whole life to make the music actually sound good and like in demand in a way. So then I realized, okay, what if I do like a cover or two, and then I uploaded a few videos, and I realized, oh wow, it brings me views. Like, okay, this is not really the music I care about. This is not the music that I even like sometimes, but it's fun to construct it as an architecture, as a building.
Yeah.
So okay, you pick up the drums, you pick up the bass, the guitar, the vocals, you try to combine all that together, and this is fun. And it doesn't matter what song you play.
I think that was the question. If you're trying to deconstruct a song, are you starting essentially with a rhythmical to try and get the drums? And then is the bass line generally played with the regular notes, and then the melody is what's using the tuning? Or how are you approaching breaking a song down?
It's a great question. It's different for every song, and most of the time, because we like play in different tunings, like every song is in different tuning, and that's why most of the guys who do exclusively different tunings, they cannot really improvise. Like I cannot improvise because I don't know how this tuning works beyond that one song that I do in this tuning, because I just found all the notes, and I'm totally blind when it goes outside of that, because it's just like when every song is in different tuning, you have to learn scales in every weird tuning. It's not possible. And most of the time you play just by yourself. You don't really have to like jam with anybody. And even if you jam, you can just compose things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically there's tons of ways. As I said, you can play bass like this. Like you can just plug the bass. And then you can add kick drum on top.
And then to hold your mic, you need both hands.
Yeah. So yeah, then you can add like a kick drum on top of that bass, something like that. I don't like doing this because it's not possible to play the bass with a nail in such way, and it doesn't sound as sharp and as thick as it could be. So that's why I do taps most of the time. This is something I picked up from John Gom. When it's possible to not to do things simultaneously like this, better don't do it. Better like separate it between two hands so it's easier to play. Because now this hand does just this, and this hand just does the kick drum, and it's much easier to play, but still the pluck, the attack is there, so the bass sounds much stronger compared to, and that's just a tiny little thing. And then these fingers are open. You can add open strings. What's out of tune? What's out of tune? Sorry?
You've got about 20 different ways you can tune this guitar.
Like whatever. Oh, like, I don't know. What's in tune here? I thought I tuned it. I swear. Oh, that's why. Sorry.
I can't even tune a 12 string, let alone... How many different tunings could this conceivably have?
I have no idea.
Hundreds.
You know, so yeah, something like that. So I focus. Oh, sorry, I don't hear myself. So I focus on. So I do my kick drum. I play some open string random melody. It's not even a melody, just open strings. But my bass sounds so separated because it's all taps, and I don't have to think about it. So. Yeah, and this is something like very, very basic. Then you can add harmonics, slap harmonics, like all sorts of fancy tunings and fancy drums as well. I have my fancy drums here, but we can talk about it later.
Well, I would like to break the guitar down in which modifications came first, what was the journey. But I kind of feel, it's about 10 minutes in, I think we should just hear you play a piece, and then we'll break the things. Would you like to hear Alex play it? Yes, lots of nodding.
Yeah, I can.
Let's have a little play.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
That's amazing. I've been very fortunate to interview Mike Dawes and John Gorman, sit and watch them do this, and that is a crazy talent, man. That is
Thank you very much.
cool.
Thank you.
So, okay, let's talk about Frankenstein. Did it start? How did it start? Did it look a bit like this on day one?
More or less, yeah. So this is the guitar that Lee holds. It's my signature guitar, also by Baton Rouge. It's the same brand, and well, it's a bit different. So, but they're both left-handed, so you can try them after the show. I mean, especially this one. It's for people to try. But we do have right-handed versions. It's not just left-handed. And yeah, so basically the idea for the Frankenstein, before we started working on this one, we wanted to build a dream guitar for me. And the dream guitar means they should have like crazy fan frets for my low tunings. I really love fan frets. Big body for all sorts of cool drums and like scratches everywhere, and then like 6 banjo tuners here, so I could do this fancy retunings. There's no banjo tuners there, but it's possible to add them as an additional feature because all that stuff makes the guitar a bit more expensive. And then the most important thing, because I already been doing tunings on this side for so long, so it started to get boring. So the main thing was the bridge. This bridge where I can change the notes and do like all sorts of whammy bar things, but the most important thing that it's like all of that is controllable. So I can play with my bass lines here, or like with my melodies, and I can just play this like thing with my favorite thing when you go like do this 4-note runs on one string. And yeah, so that was the main idea, to tune the strings from both sides and to use a very complicated pickup system for that. Now we use the very simplified system. I just run 2 pickups, but actually there are 7 signals here. So I need my mixer and a lot of pedals, but we didn't have time for that. So there's a very fancy Cat6 cable. It's Ethernet cable, so this is not a guitar cable, and it picks up all the 6 signals that the guitar has. And this is just the microphone that I literally taped to the guitar because I don't care. And this microphone is for my drums here, so when I play live. So this is my 7th signal, and this one carries 6. So there's I think, let me gotta plug it back. Can you plug it back, please?
What would you like me to hold? I love Cat6 cable on a guitar. Whatever next. That's crazy.
So there's the magnetic pickup here. It's for picking up the strings and just the strings, like an electric guitar. So I can run my electric guitar effects through it without any weird body noises. There's a microphone here just for kind of air of the acoustic guitar. I don't care, I like the electric nature of this guitar. 3 piezos here for my right side percussion, and they pan to the right. 3 piezos here for my left side percussion, they pan to the left. So it means it's a kind of a stereo pair, but it's piezos, so they don't go feedback. And 3 piezos here for kick drum, so it picks up the kick drum everywhere. 3 piezos here for snare, and this tiny mic. So 7 signals, and everything is separated on my mixer, more or less separated. It's never perfect because the guitar is tiny. You cannot really make things that widely spread and being 100% separated, but it kind of works. And yeah, so the whole idea is to make this guitar sound huge on stage, and that was the second thing. And then we added this one, and this is like something that's from Schlagwerk. It's the German company that does cajons and things like that. And I figured out that they have this Sam Jam thing. It's called. They produced it initially as a guitar snare that you put somewhere here, and you hit it, and it goes like kind of like a real snare. But this one sounds more like a hi-hat to me, because there's metal strings inside. The snare's here, and this is the like a hand pan add-on. There's also the metal strings inside, and it sounds like a real snare. And this is just tiny cymbals that I found in some music store for like €5, and I just put them here because I have this additional strings. And this is my kind of, I don't know, I think of that as an open hi-hat, but it's just more like a nice little texture. And the kick drum stays here as well. So altogether, can just
Of course.
can just put it here. So all together, we have the little cymbals, the hi-hat, the snare, the kick, and something here as well. So all together it goes like this. There's a delay in my headphones. I can go drum and bass. Yeah, that's drum.
Can I just say as well,
I gotta compose something with it.
Alex is hearing everything through his headphones about half a second after he's playing it. So that it's unbelievably off-putting and incredible that you can still do it.
It's hard.
You're hearing things half a second behind. I notice you don't have a looper on the floor, and yet I would have thought for doing this sort of stuff, wouldn't it just be easier to loop some of those rhythmic sections in, or is that you're not a fan of looping?
Exactly, and sometimes I use looping in my songs and during the live performance because, again, like when it's just one man on stage, it's nice to bring as many different textures as possible. So at this point, loop is not just like a cheating or not cheating or like it or don't like it. It's just a cool new texture that people haven't heard during the concert. So it's nice to use it anyways, even if you can do everything on your own. But the whole idea of fingerstyle, that you struggle, that you suffer, but you play everything on one guitar still. So that's kind of the whole concept.
Oh, well, look, I think we're getting towards the end of the time slot that we've got here. I would love to hear you play this, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you want to find out more about Alex, you probably don't need to know this, but he has a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers on it. It's Alex Misko, as well as all other social forms and his own website as well. So are you touring much over the next few months?
Yeah, so I tour a lot in Germany. I'm based in Germany now, so there's a lot of things happening, like almost every month there's a few festivals or solo shows. I'm going to Hong Kong after the Guitar Summit to play like with my great friend Alexander Boldachev. He's a harp player, so I also do a lot of collaborations with other musicians. This is also a great passion, so I said that we don't improvise and we don't play with other musicians, but I find normally, because we're just so focused on playing everything on one guitar, but it's such a joy to play with other musicians, whether it's harp or bass or drums or anything. It just makes you think outside the box. So this is my recommendation in general, to play with other people. It's much more fun. It's
been an absolute pleasure to meet you and interview you. Thank you so much for everybody here who stayed and watched. Baton Rouge are here somewhere in Guitar Summit.
Upstairs.
You can go and find them. So yeah, if I hold the mic, because this is just, we're just going to hear this, right? So take it away, Alex Misko. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.
Thanks so much, guys.
Don't scratch it.
Oh, better don't do this.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, man. Take it easy. We'll see you soon.